luck.
And to all of you as well. Yes, here we are. We're going live any second. 3, 2, 1, and we are live now. Let me just try to get my commands window and place it somewhere where I can eventually see it for later. Okay, I didn't work out as I wanted it. So, okay, I'll try to have it in a separate window if this works as a pop-up. Okay, here we go. So, hello, folks. Sorry for the small delay. We're 5 minutes too late because we had some technical difficulties. It was expected, but we sorted everything out, and now we're here live for you. So, today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. As usual, my name is Tudor Vladov, and I'm back with a very special episode of Keeping It Realistic. Special because today we won't be doing what we usually do during a regular episode of the show. We won't be checking out the latest news, announcements, events, or reviewing your works from the past 2 weeks. Instead, we'll be celebrating a birthday, and obviously not any birthday, but the 10th anniversary of one of the most popular and beloved render engines out there, especially when it comes to architectural visualization. It is also my personal favorite Chaos project that I've been using for the past 6 years, and it has been an amazing companion to me that has helped me and tons of other artists all over the world achieve impressive results pretty much out of the box. You know it's the Corona renderer. And obviously, we cannot have a proper party without guests. So, to celebrate, we have a wonderful panel of Corona users and producers that are willing to share their stories and love for this amazing engine with you. On the Kel side, we have Kalina Lukanova and Tom Grimes, who are willing to give us a glimpse behind the scenes from the Chaos Kitchen. Hello, you two. And on the user side, we have Nadia, Monte, Luis, Inciarte, Dionysios, Tsagkaropoulos, Michał, Wojcieszczyk, who is not here yet, but he'll definitely join us. He's supposed to be here. This is Mike from VizAcademy, and Nikos, Nikolopoulos. So, hello to all of you. Awesome to have you here today. This is really going to be a special show because usually for the last 1.5 years and 45 episodes, it's only been me going live and talking about the works of the people from the group. And now the roles are reversed. So I'll be the one just asking questions. I'll be in the background, and you're the stars of the show, which I think is absolutely amazing. So thank you for being here. And obviously, we have this wonderful mix of incredibly talented individuals, seasoned artists, innovators, teachers, mentors. I mean, Nikos and Mike are even mentors on the Chaos campus for those who joined the show for the first time, with Nikos being even one of the founders of this community and also the first one to start a show in it, the very own Chaos Campus live show, which has been going strong for how many years, Nikos?
Fourth season now.
Fourth season already. Yeah. And then Mike, who joined us last year with the awesome VizAcademy Tips and Tricks show. And of course, Nadia, Luis, and Dionysios, who can tell us so much about the world of creativity, imagination, and visualization. And I think it's going to be amazing hearing so many different perspectives about one and the same topic. And of course, for a round to be perfect, we need one more really important participant. And I'm not talking about myself. It is you, the Chaos Campus Keeping It Realistic audience, all the beautiful people who decided to join us in this celebration today. And of course, the ones who will watch the recording later, we love you exactly as much. So yeah, make yourself comfortable, get yourself a nice drink, a snack maybe, and make sure to celebrate along, say hi, tell us where you're tuning in from. I see the chat is incredibly lively already, people from Greece, from all over the world saying hi. The usual suspects, people that watch more or less every show and are also incredibly active in the group. I see Amit, Simon, Marcelo, Abdi, Costas, Mariana, so many, Janita, I won't name them all, but of course, it's awesome to have you here, but I also see new names, which is, of course, amazing. And in the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you have watched 46 shows in a row or this is the first time you join. We're very happy to have you here with us today. Now, regarding the recording, which I mentioned, we're on Facebook Live now, meaning that the recording will be available more or less immediately after the live session is ended, so that you can watch it if you have missed it, or rewatch it if you want to see us once again. And regarding your questions, because I'm sure you'll be having some, here we are on Facebook Live, where there is no separate Q&A section. So we have planned a Q&A for the end of the show. So if you have any questions, please make sure to keep them for the end of the show. Maybe write them in Word or somewhere, and then you can paste them when the show is ending, so that your question doesn't get overlooked if you just throw it out right now. And of course, if you have a quick one, let's say a current speaker is talking about a topic and you want to have a quick question about it, you can shoot it. I'll be doing my best to keep an eye on the chat. But apart from this, let's keep the questions for the end of the show. And of course, if you want to address a specific guest, then make sure to mention their name in the beginning of your question. And this was it. This was the end of the formal part of this show. From now on, we're just hanging out together. So lean back, enjoy, and maybe let us listen to Tom Grimes tell us a bit about Corona. Tom, please.
Hey, thanks, Theo, and hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for coming along. We appreciate it. I'm actually going to keep it really short today because I don't want the focus to be on me, but on our fantastic guests. So Corona is celebrating its 10th birthday. That's on February the 25th, because on February the 25th, 2015, Corona 1.0 came out. It finally became commercially available, and obviously it started development in 2009 with Andra at university. It grew as Adam and Yara joined. Adam brought the idea that really ArcViz needed an engine dedicated to it. Viva was the standard at the time, and he felt that something dedicated to ArcViz had a place in the market. And he brought in his experience from Vonage, plus a whole group of connections from mainly London studios, like Recent Spaces, The Boundary, Asymmetrica, Hayes Davidson. And they all joined during the alpha stage. This is before the commercial stage. Corona was available for free, and people actually started using it in commercial projects, which is fine. Obviously, that lets it be put through its paces in serious use. Hey, Mike. And then we reached 2015 when it went paid. Basically, we were just about out of money at that point. Adam and Andra were living in the office. There was, I can't remember what it was. There was like 25 euros in the bank account, and that was it. It was like, okay, we have to go live and release this commercially because we need the money if we're going to continue developing. And of course, it was a great success. Lots of people jumped on board, even though we'd moved from free to commercial. And if you want a real dive into the past of Corona, I'll have a video that'll be going live in the next week or so. It's about 25 minutes long. I'll have slides and images and photographs throughout the 10 years. Even earlier, we'll have, for example, the very first test renders out of Corona. They're actually on Facebook, but you have to scroll all the way back through our Facebook page to 2012, which is when we shared them. But I'll be wrapping all that up in a 25-minute presentation where we have a look at the history of Corona. So keep an eye out for that. And then, okay, looking back is one thing, but we want to look forward as well. I'll have another video which will look forward to what we plan on doing this year, 2025. Things to look forward to are tune shading, which should be in 13. 13 is planned for June. 14 is planned for November. There will be a 12 update 2 before then. But 12 update 2 is mostly sort of just a technical update. And 13 is where you'll start to see the majority of features. So tune shading, rendering animations from your DCC through Vantage, for 14, possibly the Fireflies approval that we've seen from Vive and Gaussian splits that we've seen from Vive. And again, I don't want to take up the time here with it because I will have a video, which I think should go live on the 25th itself, on the actual birthday. So that'll be on our YouTube channels. And really, I want to get on and hear from the most important people in our history, which is you, the users. We have a whole group of wonderful people here, and it's more important to hear their experience with Corona and what they're up to than it is to hear from me, because you're about to hear from me in the videos. So I'll pass it on to the next folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. It's wild to think that Corona is already a decade old, because I don't know. As somebody said in the comments, it feels like it still is the new kid on the block, like still something new and fresh that just came out. This is the way I perceive it still. So, 10 years already is a lot. But anyway, congratulations to you and to your team, of course, because you made a wonderful project that I personally absolutely love. There is a question here. There will be technical questions for you, I think, in the end, in the Q&A section. But there is here an interesting question from Amit that we can maybe shortly discuss, and then we can go over to Kali. So he asked, when Corona was developed, what was the tough process that went through the developers, as V-Ray was already established in the market and people had already started using it in their pipeline? What made you think that Corona would win artists over?
Well, this came from the experience of Adam and the people he brought with him, from London, because they were. What was important for Corona was, what do you not need, rather than what do you need, which was important. The biggest thing was people were using Vive, and it was like, it does too much. Because Vive is intended to serve any market whatsoever and do it fully. And people are like, okay, that's great, but for ArcViz, it actually slows us down because there are too many things, too many options. We want something that's laser focused on ArcViz. And yeah, it's a big part of Corona's initial development is, what can we cut out? What can we simplify? How can we make it so that you can load your scene, press render, and you get a result that fits what ArcViz artists need? And that meant, yeah, sure, there were some things we added. Obviously, across the history, we have light mix, we have the Prague sky, the procedural sky. We had the focus on interactive rendering. So there are definitely things we added, but an equal part of that is, what do ArcViz artists, what can they do away with? How can we make the whole UI, the functionality, laser focused on what ArcViz people need, and nothing else that will get in the way or confuse people or let them break the lighting in a scene so they get a terrible result? And that was the core. Corona was built from that, from day one. That was its intention, and I think that makes it unique in the rendering world, given it had such a focus on a specific market.
This was definitely the reason I decided to go with Corona. So yeah, I can second that. Thank you very much. Kali, you were the one who gathered this awesome bunch. So tell us more about this choice, please, and about yourself too. And then please let us invite our guests to introduce themselves.
Perfect. So hi, everyone. I'm going to keep it very, very short. Despite the fact that I'm drinking coffee, I'm already in the party vibe. Wait, where's my light? I need some sunlight here. So fully prepared. There's a chain attached. You might be hearing the sounds from the chain as well. I'm currently based in Berlin. My name is Kalina, and I've been at Chaos for 6 years now. Super excited about this bunch of people being here together. First of all, because they're super talented, but they're also very kind-hearted and giving, and they give a lot to the community. And I think they're at the heart of what community means and represents. And I feel very strongly about this. I'm very grateful to have met every single one of you. And yeah, let's keep on supporting each other and creating beautiful things and projects. We've already done quite a lot of things. So last year we did a series of unboxed events. This year we're doing another series of chaos meetups around the world, where Dionysios and Nadia and Luis and Nikos were presenting. It was great. We traveled, we had fun, we exchanged a lot of knowledge. and good vibes with people around the world. You know about the masterclass series we're doing with Nikos as well. We're also collaborating on case studies, so quite a lot of different projects. And I'm excited about 2025 in general. So this is basically the reason why I gathered them. I think they're talented, and I think they're crazy, which for me is the main criteria about when it comes to picking people in my close circle. So handing the floor to all of you, and thanks to everyone that joined today.
Who wants to start introducing themselves? Thank you, Kalina, by the way. Nadia and Luis, maybe being in the same room.
Okay. Yeah, I can start. So I'm Nadia Monte. I grew up in the south of Italy, in a little village, Tursi. I studied architecture in Florence. And during my last years of architecture, I realized I didn't want to become an architect, but I wanted to become a CG artist. Yeah, so I decided to move to Venice and study a second level master, that is Master Madi. And so, yeah, during the master, I won the first competition that was organized between the Madi and Bloom Images, that is an art studio based in Berlin and Hamburg. So thanks to this competition, I moved to Berlin, and I worked with Binyan for 3.5 years. And then I decided to move to London and work with Binyan since last January 2024. So now it's a bit more than 1 year that I'm based in London, and I'm working with Binyan. Yeah, I started to use Corona in 2019. So before going to the master, I attended a workshop, an intensive workshop, because honestly, I didn't know anything about this world. I didn't know how to do images, photorealistic images. So first of all, I started with B-Ray in the same year. And then I decided to study also Corona because I saw that they were the most renders engine used at the time. So also nowadays. So I wanted to study both of them and then decide which one I preferred. And so that's why then I switched totally to Corona. And at the moment I'm using Corona. And so yeah, this is a small introduction about myself. And maybe Luis can continue.
This was awesome, by the way. I would have asked you about your initial Corona experience, but you were quicker.
I mean, if you want, I can tell you, but I thought maybe also later. So
there is no real plan here. It's great to hear yours, your story, and people in the comments really like to see all of you here. Elle is saying, "I want to be great like all of you someday." So yeah. You have real fans here. Luis, please.
Oh my God, right. Hi everyone, my name is Luis Inciarte. I have been in this industry for a little bit of time. This is my 22nd year in the industry. I started quite young, when I was 19, so when I was studying. I am not an architect whatsoever, and I sort of fell into this profession. I'm a graphic designer. And I started doing more VFX and commercials and a cameraman operator, a Steadicam actually, back in the old days before gimbals and like really small cameras, like big cinema cameras with arms and like harnesses on you. But I always had an interest in 3D because of Star Wars and Jurassic Park and all these great movies that we all grew up with. And there was a show on HBO called Movie Magic, and you watched it, and it like told you a little bit about how they did miniatures. And there's this great thing called computer animation. And I opened 3D Studio Max about 5 or 6 times before I actually managed to do anything with it. I got frustrated many a time, and that was around 3D Studio Max 4. Back in the old days when you used to hit F1 and it didn't open a browser window, it was actually an instruction manual that came with it. I did all the tutorials. with scanline render at the time, right? So you had to calculate things like light bounces and put omni lights for radiosity and all these terminologies that we never hear anymore. At some point I fell into architecture because I sort of saw opportunity there, and it was like, in my opinion, something slightly simpler to do than the big VFX things that I was looking at the time. And this was all back in Venezuela. So in 2010, I moved to London, and I started at Hayes Davidson, had a career there, became a director. It was great, fantastic. I was made to use V-Ray at some point because the whole studio transitioned. So I was the last person, because I'm lazy to this day. So I was made to go there, and I managed to find universal settings that I used for every single thing. And people were baffled that I didn't change settings on anything, but it made sense to me because everything looked the same to me. And then there came a new software called Corona, and it was being tested at the time by a Peter Guthrie, who was an artist in residence, testing it in the studio. And I remember seeing kind of the first comparison tests and things, and the whole like screen, not using buckets to render, but noise, like Maxwell render and all these things. I said, oh, wow, that looks so cool. And once again, I was the last one in the studio to actually jump on it. And I was the only artist in the studio who actually failed at it the very first time, because I just took a scene from V-Ray and then converted it. And it just looked absolutely shit. And I didn't understand why. And I felt very disappointed in myself. But then I got the hang of it, and I haven't stopped using it for the last 10 years, really. Like I fucking love Corona, and I'm a big representative of it, and I will, stand behind it, because I think it's one of the very few tools that actually allows you to be a creative and not think about any of the technicality. And you can throw whatever you want at it, and it will render it out. It's not necessarily sector specific either. You can do whatever you want. And we'll see some of that later. But yeah, that's me.
That was awesome. So it seems like you were with Corona since the very beginning, more or less.
Yes, sir. Very near and dear to my heart.
So you're also celebrating 10 years of Corona usage. So congrats to you as well. Let's continue with Dionysios.
Oh, thank you, Theo. Thank you very much. Well, I'm Dionysios Tsagkaropoulos. Oh, Tsagkaropoulos, I said in French, I'm sorry. I live in France. I live in Paris right now. I change a lot of things in my life in general. It's a bit complicated path. Well, I moved to Italy it was 1992, where I studied architecture in Venice. And from the very start, from the very beginning, I was really very amazed from the 3D rendering technology. We speak about, guys, I mean, it was many, many years ago. Everything was started on those years. I had an Amiga 1200, and this is how I learned the 3D world. It was the name of the software was Real 3D, actually. And about 94, 95, I was using a personal computer, and I started using by my own. We had no internet, we had no tutorials, there was no YouTube, there was nothing at all, okay? And I was using 3D Studio under DOS. Okay, this is how I started. I saw 3D Studio and used 3D Studio under DOS. So after a couple, 3 years, then Max 1.0 came out. And I started doing some things by my own. So on 1999, I decided to just do the business, go into the business like a visualizer. I think it was the start of the visualizing industry on the architecture and design in general. And then there was founded Delta Tracing. It was my old company. And I was really, really lucky that a year after 2000, I started working in the same time for Autodesk. I was the application engineer and official demo artist for Autodesk Italy, and many things happened there. I was in the beta program. I was doing support for all the Autodesk users in Italy and in Europe. So that was a very cool experience. And because of all this, I had the opportunity to use a lot of engines. Okay, so this is where I want to arrive. So I used the scanline like Lewis for a lot of years. Then I used the father of global illumination radiosity. It was Lightscape. And then I use mental ray, I use final render, I use, well, that's a very important step actually, iRay. I was in the production and of the iRay engine, which was 2009. I worked with NVIDIA and Autodesk and mental images for that engine. And that's where everything started changing, because iRay was a phenomenal, really, engine. It was a full unbiased engine supported by GPU calculation. I think I was the first on the planet that I built. It was a very risky situation, actually. A workstation which was connected with 8 GPUs to make iRay work. It was 2009, 2010, and it worked. It was fantastic. And I was amazed from the interactive preview technology that iRay was offering that time. So this lasts for 6 years, and we arrived to 2015, where I decided to do some changes in my life. I decided to come in Paris and work for the architect Renzo Piano for 7 years. I'm going to tell that in French. The responsable d'imagerie, it was the CGI manager of the office. And that was the year that, unfortunately, Autodesk and NVIDIA, they stopped supporting iRay. So I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I was so used to use that engine. I mean, we built it together. So some friends of mine, they were talking about Corona. Okay, and I never thought I would use Corona in my life. So November 2015, it was the month earlier before I left for Paris, France. I just installed Corona, and I say, oh my God. I said, oh my God. I was so amazed, guys, because the interactive rendering was there. Many features that iRay, they didn't have it in iRay. So like displacement or some other really cool stuff. So yeah, I started using Corona. It was November 2015, and this is the same till now. It was a big revolution for me, and thanks to that engine, I then had my professional experience in Renzo Piano for 7 years. Everything was done in Corona. It was very, very important to have such an engine in such a big studio. It was really great stuff.
I gotta make use of my privilege as a host here, and gotta ask you about this. This is a very personal question.
Oh my God!
Because while studying architecture in the mid-2000s, one of the architects that really stood out to me, alongside Peter Zumthor, was Renzo Piano.
Wow,
really
okay.
loved his work, absolutely. So I gotta ask, how is working with him? Because I love his architecture, but the person is something different. So how was Renzo Piano?
Wow, that's a good question. Thank you, Tio. Well, Renzo, I mean, he's an 80 years old, architect. So technology is not really, really easy to understand personally. I'm not talking for the studio. I'm talking about him. Okay. So when I get in the studio, in the agency, the first 2-3 years I was working with all the rest of the people, but not Renzo Piano. Okay, he was only looking to the images and he didn't want to know anything about it. Okay, but after he understood that the rendering process, it's a tool for the architecture industry. It's a tool to test. It's a tool to verify. It's a tool to see things and understand some mistakes. Well, it was amazing that I started working with him personally in some projects. Yeah, I had this privilege. Really, it was an exceptional experience, and the guy really is, guys. I mean, he's from another planet. He's really intelligent. He's a very nice guy. He respected me a lot. He respected my profession. Of course, it's something very new to him, very modern, and it was really, really good. But I was amazed from his intelligence. I will never forget that. Really, and you can see his results of obviously around the world.
Yeah, hearing this from the source from you is of course something else than an article online or something. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing this.
Thanks to you, Theo. Thanks.
Let's continue with the introductions. Mike, tell us about yourself, please.
Yeah, so thank you for calling on me. Sorry for being a little bit late, some technical difficulties. Although at the same time, I would like to say hello to everybody, all the guests. So my story began quite early on in my life because I'm not going to go through the whole of my, let's say, bibliography, but although everybody here has amazing experience, and I was thinking that I'm going to impress people that I work with 3ds Max for so long that I started with version 9, but well, I'm late to the party. Seems that well, everybody started a little bit earlier, but I knew what I'm going to be doing, and that's going to be graphics since I was a little child, because I was actually a very difficult one. And my mom always told me that, well, Mike, as long as your grades aren't that bad, just make sure to behave. Worst case scenario, you'll become a graphic designer. And I said, well, there's a way out. I don't need to learn anything, so I'm going to be the best graphic designer I can. So here I am, and now my story led me a little bit further down the path, and at some point my friend had 3ds Max. His father was working within the industry, and I decided that I'm going to borrow his copy of the license, and that's how I started learning 3ds Max. And at some point I remember when there was a forum, no, it doesn't matter which one was it, but everybody was talking about that weird new thing that came from that unknown developer, and potentially has a little bit of well, packs a punch. That's how it was described, and that was actually the earliest stages of alphas of Corona. And well, I remember that one moment when I first tested it, and I was just amazed how consistent it was between night shot, day shot, exteriors, interiors. Everything just worked. And just like Louis said, he hated changing settings because everything was supposed to look the same, in the sense that it's one physical realm, so we don't need to reimagine new worlds. And for me, that was the Corona. It just created one realm, it was one settings, and suddenly everything worked. And currently I'm a graphic designer since, like, I would say 15 years professionally, but I'm working with 3ds Max for way longer. And my journey with Corona started from the earliest stages of alpha. So I'm really honored to be here. And well, currently I'm a teacher for VizAcademy. So that's pretty much what led me to this point. So once again, thank you for inviting me. And I guess somebody else can now take over.
Seems like it's your own celebration. You're also one of the first ones who have been using Corona, so it makes sense for you to be here today, Mike. Thanks for this. And now it's time for our Nikos. Thank you, Nikos, very much for your patience. Would like want to introduce yourself, because I think actually everybody knows you. I think most of the panel here is known by the audience, but still, and of course, this is something very special to me personally to ask you. It's awesome for you to be here alongside everyone else, of course, but I've already been a guest to your shows 2 times, and it was awesome every time. So it feels very special to me to have you as a guest in my show. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Well, hello, Chaos Campus community. It's great to be here, and thank you for the kind words. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Congratulations, because you're doing so many things of helping other creatives to build their knowledge, and you doing it on a monthly basis, actually twice per month, and helping them with feedback. Congrats on that. I think it's something we all needed. My name is Nikolopoulos. I'm the founder of Creative Lighting. I believe so much in communities. I'm the co-founder of TED New York. When I moved to New York, I asked guys, where do you meet? They said, we don't meet. We don't have a meetup. I collaborated with James Falconer from New York, and we built a community there. Then I moved back to Greece. I asked where guys meet. No community. And I built the 3D Athens community. So I'm a big believer of building communities or supporting communities, and that's why I'm here today, to help and support your journey with keeping it realistic. I'm also the host of the Chaos Campus live show, which is happening for 3 years in a row. This is the 4th year, and I would like to say thank you for all the people that is actually attending every month for almost more than 3 years. That's exciting, guys. This is why we're building communities to elevate one another. So, as Luis said, I moved to London in 2010. I was CGI director at Cityscape Digital, heavy artist of V-Ray, 10 years of experience. I knew it upside down. And I'm always saying to my students, don't fall in love with the software. Well, I did fall in love with Corona. I was going to events, as you know, because I'm a supporter of supporting communities, and I was going to a State of Art Academy. I was going to end user event. I was going monthly to 3D London. And Ondra and the rest of the team was always there to discuss Corona and give us the vision and the philosophy of Corona. So we had some drinks, we discussed, and I was like, that sounds exciting. Let me try it out. It was before the official launch, 2015. I tried Corona. I did fall in love with the software. I give up on V-Ray. Sorry, Chaos. I still love it. It's a great software, but I give up on it because I was like, Corona is so easy to use. It's such a great software. And then I had to make a decision because I launched my brand Creative Lighting. We offer education, of corporate education to artists and designers. So we launched the brand, but I have to make a decision. You know, the philosophy works in any software, but which one is going to be the one that I'm going to promote in the classes? Like the one that I'm going to demonstrate my methods. And I decided to go with Corona. I think it was the smartest decision back in the days because we had so many clients every month coming to learn about this new tool, this new software, and how they can switch from V-Ray to Corona. And we help thousands of artists. I'm telling you, because I have database. We have so many people that wish to switch or add Corona in the workflow. It doesn't have to be a switch. Many companies support more than one render engine, even back the Cityscape. It's much better because they have access to more people, right? Better artists. So we used to work with Monte, V-Ray, Maxwell, Corona, but Corona was the one that was always in our heart, especially when the light mix came out. I was blown away. I couldn't stop working with Corona. So basically, Corona helped me to be more creative again. Remind me the power of creativity. I was able to work faster and smarter than before. And as an artist, I love to tell stories about the design, but if I don't have the right tools and I'm slowing it down, I'm bored, you know, and Corona brought me back the excitement of working smarter and faster than ever before.
Thank you. This was amazing. Thank you very much, and thanks for everyone for your introductions. People are really excited for you to be here today. I see Mario saying, "Wow, all the top globals in one place. It's like Thanos Infinity Gems," and this truly is what it is today. Nikos, you were the one who waited the longest to introduce yourself, so I have a second question for you. So you travel a lot to do corporate trainings to some of the world's leading architectural and visualization studios. You also do the ArchViz masterclasses, the Chaos Campus Live Show, 3D Athens, 3D London. You know, there is a certain tendency here. So it seems like working with others, with the community, is a favorite part of your work. This is a question, and the second part of it is, do you sometimes eventually miss the years where you used to spend more time in front of the monitor, modeling, texturing, unwrapping, and rendering, of course?
The thing is, when I was living in London and working for a big studio like Cityscape, back in the days was like 50 people, heavy productions, Foster and Partners, make artists, like all the big architects who have to make images for them to help them to visualize their design. But the thing is, I realized when I was building the philosophy of creative lighting for the studio at Cityscape, I realized that lighting is my passion. I love lighting so much. I love telling stories about the design. And that led me to another part of my life, which is going to events and talking to people. That was my second passion. You know, one led to another. And I realized, Nikos, yes, you can do production. You're doing it successfully for many years. But what about something new that you find out that you like so much, to build communities, being with others, helping others? And I start this new journey. And I think sometimes it's good to know where to stop. You know, it's good to have many passions, but it's good to know what the direction you want to go. And it was so clear to me that I need to share my knowledge with others and help them succeed in their life and their work. And that's my passion. So I don't regret that I moved from heavy production studio into running my own business. But helping others and building communities is my number one priority. And that's why with Chaos last year, we did the Chaos Masterclass. Actually, it was over 4,300 people registrations attending live for 8 months. And that's a record. And then we went to Toronto, went to Milan, we went to New York, we went to London. It's just insane that when you bring people together, you create an energy. And that energy, it can actually celebrate the power of the tools and the power of creativity and the power of business. So I'm mentioning business as well, because as a creative person, I realized on the way that Nikos, don't create, do some business on the side, because you need to take things to the next level. You need to also train yourself. So education is part of me, and helping others on the way, it's who I am today.
Your community work is amazing, and it definitely helps. People love it in the group. But also, I had the chance to see you live in the Chaos and Box Berlin event, and your passion is definitely contagious. This is something
so
I can say.
Follow your passion. I think that's simple as that. Just follow your passion.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mike. I have a question for you.
Thank you.
What do you? I will pin Nikos for now and pin you. So, what do you actually enjoy more, doing commercial visualizations? Because as far as I know, you're still doing those, or teaching students, or maybe both.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Honestly, I cannot divide those two, because the only way I can teach people is through experience. And as soon as I would stop doing commercial work, I would be behind the industry. So to really be able to give them the actual knowledge and skill that they need for the industry, I need to be part of it. So honestly, I do enjoy spending time with people, communities, and students a little bit more than clients. But at the same time, this is my passion, and I really love doing what I'm doing. And that is why I'm doing it for so long. And really cannot divide it, but definitely I do skew towards teaching.
Thank you. This is a fantastic answer, by the way. I think if you teach others, you need to keep up with the tendencies, with the software, but also still be active, because otherwise it just becomes theory, right?
Exactly. And as soon as you're going to be only teaching and stop innovating, coming up with new ideas to be faster and a little bit more recognized on the market, that's pretty much when you're only the teacher that's going to have outdated techniques, outdated software, and it's just not a viable. I wouldn't feel good teaching somebody techniques from 7 years ago.
Easy to imagine. Thank you, Mike. Dionysios.
Yeah.
What is the area of your work that you're currently most passionate about and maybe enjoy the most?
Well, it was from the beginning, actually. Never changed that. It was the architecture and interior design industry, and that's it.
So, but are you actively visualizing, or are you telling teams what to do, or supervising them, or how is it?
Well, I'm only visualizing. I'm actively working on with the software and producing always what I produce. Well, in Renzo Piano, my experience lasted for 7 years. Yeah, I was the head of the visualization department, but I was the main character of the production. So yeah, I was managing, of course, the production, but I was working a lot.
Wow, this is amazing, because if I get it right, you have more than 30 years of experience in this field, and you still actually love visualizing and are passionate about it. You don't want to just, give it to others, and you're just doing a chef role and telling them what to do. You just want to do it your own.
Well, too, I think I have a very strange point of view of the visualization. I think I see the visualization as an art. It's an art. It's a new type of art, and it includes a lot of many arts. It includes the photography, includes scenography. It includes, of course, the capability to make the set, to find the balance of everything. You have to build everything in there: lighting, cameras, everything. So it's an art, and you can't say to somebody else to paint your painting. This is how I see it. So if somebody just talks to me and they want some images from myself, that was my difficulty till now. I mean, with everybody, even with my company in Italy, you know, I have to do this stuff. I have to produce because people are here for me, for my eyes, for my brain, for my capability of producing images.
I find this really inspiring, and it seems like once an artist, always an artist, right?
Yeah. I think it's nowadays there are many companies doing visualization, and in fact, I think they lost a bit the identity of what an image is, because many people, of course, it's more how you say, an industrial production right now. So a lot of people working for many clients. So there is no identity, I think. I mean, it's a bit mixed right now. So I stayed on the old version of what I was seeing, and this is what I'm doing right now. I'm freelance, and if somebody wants my images, they have to come to me, not to somebody else.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm an old school. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Luis, I have a question for you. You've been a VFX artist, and I'm not sure how passionate you are for VFX right now, but you're definitely still very, very passionate about animations, right? So would you tell us more about this, please?
Well, I mean, I'm one of those weird ones where I kind of consider visualization in general the same. It's just like the audience is different. The end product will be different because you're targeting to a different audience, but the process is kind of always the same. Obviously, there's specific technical intricacies, but I think the thing that's sort of kept me going now is that sort of jumping in between the two ponds, let's say, and trying to find a way of merging techniques from both sides, and kind of looking to the sides. You know what I mean? Like we're in a creative industry, and the stuff that we do came originally from VFX, from Hollywood, let's say. But the stuff that is done there also is a sister to advertising, to car design, to graphic design. So all of those things can come together and just give new sort of spins and mixes into what visualization is at the moment, I guess. I'm still very passionate, to be completely honest, because of the people coming up, and seeing their enthusiasm is very contagious to me and very inspiring to me, and seeing them be able to, you know, be the bastions of what is going to be the future. You know, I've had my time, and I came from a different generation. I grew up with other people who were a different generation before me, who taught me, and then seeing all the stuff that is happening now, how easy it is, how accessible it is, how many assets you have available to you. I do see that there is both a kind of a duality in terms of, like, it's so easy to do things, but we've lost a lot of the sort of rebel adventurer, space explorer mindset of the beginning. And I think my sort of role in that now is kind of reminding people a little bit of some of those things and some of those old school techniques and principles and ideas, and then seeing how we can actually empower them and push them forward for, you know, the questions of this new age.
I really enjoy your description as a creative director and expert disruptor. I think this is part of this, right?
Yeah. I tend to upset quite a lot of people, not in malicious ways, but it's just in ways that I don't really see offense in terms of what creativity is, and the amount of tools that we can kind of incorporate to both accelerate as well as just find new creative ways to express the same things. Now, a building is a building is a building, and in my career, I've already done every version of every possible project. You just do a new version of it for maybe the same client or a different client, but it's either stills or a cinematograph or an animation, or, you know, it's kind of the same thing. But how do you tell a new and compelling story that still is exciting to people, that doesn't become one of those images or animations where you're sort of like tuned out, numb, and you're like, yes, just renders on the website, or, you know, like images on social media. It's like, what is that one thing that still makes you give a shit?
Yeah, this is something really important. I have had clients who actually reached out to me to rework images that already looked pretty solid, because they said once their clients go to a catalog, for example, and see those renders, they just continue. They don't stay at them and watch them and enjoy them. They just continue going through the pages because there is nothing that holds them to this image or binds them to it. So I fully understand this. So storytelling, by the way, thank you very much, Luis. And storytelling, this is something that we need to address Nadia for, because next to your beautiful ArchViz images, your personal works tend to be very storytelling heavy and often symbolic, depicting, let's call them difficult topics like, violence, isolation, health issues. Please tell us more about this, because this is really exciting.
Talking about these images, I could also share my screen. So
please do.
You can see something. Just one moment. So, not this. Sorry. Why?
Let's sit next. Oh, skip this and launch image class. Yeah.
Why it's not working?
Let's try again. I think you should get it now. The first configuration. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
So about storytelling. Why storytelling? When I started my master, I had to prepare an image for the competition. And honestly, so the first image I did is the one that you see on the left, talking about violence against women. And when I had to do the image, we didn't have any constraints to follow. The only one was to scan a 3D object and use it in the scene. So I had to invent something, and I wanted to use the objects as the main point of my image. And so at the beginning, honestly, I wanted to tell another story. I wanted to tell a story about a mother playing with the child in the bath with the yellow duck falling down on the floor. And so I wanted to scan the yellow duck. And I also tried to scan the yellow duck, but it was a mess because when I scanned it, I didn't paint any reference point on the yellow duck, and so it was a mess. So I had to think about the story again, and I had to change my image completely because I had to use because in that period, the coronavirus came. So when I ordered, I had to order the yellow duck online. And when it came, I scanned it and it was a mess. So then I had to change the objects, but I didn't have any game, anything in my house because I was living in Venice. It was not my family house. So I had to find another object and not ordering it online because the deadline for this image was very close. So I was struggling about the topic, what to tell with this image, because I also already modeled the bathroom at that time. So I need to invent another story. And at one point, I realized it was almost the 8th of March. And so I started to think about this date and why we celebrate the Women's Day, the women festivity. And so that's how this image came to my mind. So I scanned my shoes and I used them. And then this image, I created this image. And honestly, since I created this image, with this image, I discovered my passion about these kind of topics. So it was random. my choice for this topic, but so it's something that I realized after I made this image. And so, yeah, the second image, the one on the top right, I made that one as a second image during the quarantine period. So that image is talking about a guy living his life during the quarantine. And the other one is talking about anorexia. And all these topics are very important, I think. Another thing very important to me is observing people, going out, having a walk in the street and observe people. Because when I observe people, I start to imagine their life inside their houses. Because we never know what's happening inside the house of the people, no? And so I really love to imagine this kind of life behind the walls, and so I want to bring these things into the art. I mean, not into the archviz, because this is not archviz, but it's a mix of different things, I think, because we have a very important tool in our hands, and I want to use these tools, like 3ds Max, Corona. I want to use these tools to communicate something. I don't want to use these tools only to create archviz images. I want to use this also for art. And that's how I started to talk about society problems. This is another image that I made last year for the 3D meetup London in May, and this is talking about violence against children. But yeah, also in my images, I really love to I mean, the person that is observing my images can imagine what's happening in that moment, or maybe what happened before, or what could happen after. So it's up to you. You can create your own story with this image and with my images in general. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this. I can also stop sharing, I guess.
This was wonderful to see, because obviously what we do isn't only done for selling apartments, right? It's 3D images that you can do for any purpose, for advertisement, but also for addressing such big issues like the ones that you've shown. And I really love that you said that you like observing people. I think it's not even only people, like observing anything. I think it's very, very important, especially for 3D artists, observing situations, people, emotions. And it seems like storytelling is like a very solid part of you as an artist, being like you trying to imagine walking into the shoes of other people and what they feel, what they like, what their day is like. And I think this is something which is great for everybody watching this or the recording later to hear, because obviously this leads to those awesome images that you've just shown. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's maybe change the topic now, and for a question that goes to everyone. So this was those, let's say, specific questions targeted at each one of you. From now on, we'll have, let's say, major topics to talk about. So just chime in and tell us your opinion. To make it a bit more interesting, instead of talking about Corona the whole time, let's talk about the events that you have participated in and your thoughts on the chaos community. How do you perceive the chaos community? Is it active? Is it a passive one? How do you see it? I mean, all of you are incredibly active with the communities, so it would be incredibly interesting to hear this. Thank you. Who wants to start?
So I'll just start.
Great.
One of the best events that I've been to is obviously Chaos Connected, but there were a couple of events all over Europe. I fondly remember all of them. Mostly I attended those in Warsaw. Although one thing I noticed is that more and more people are, let's say, vaccinated by corona. It's a text that somebody in the chat said, but they're all getting pretty much, I would say, hooked on it to a point that at the moment everybody talks about it. There's not many people talking about V-Ray. So when I attend those events, it's a fantastic thing for me to see how the community is growing and how much people are participating. And the main theme about all of the campuses or closed groups that I am part of is seeing that people try to help one another. And I've never seen such friendly community. Even in 3D, there's plenty of other, let's say, alternatives, but I never seen people being this open to making one another better. And for me, it's a very powerful thing, because in Corona itself started as, for me, as a, let's say, indie project that drew so many people to it. Later, once it got bigger, people got a little bit, let's say, more alienated, because they were afraid that Corona is becoming more of a corporation. But now Chaos Campus and all of the events that are hosted all over the world, I would say, are slowly shifting that feeling. And I would say that all is going positively. It's just a constant progress, I would say.
So the Chaos Campus is a win for you. You've been very active since last year, since you joined with your show. And I also see you in the chat. It's not only the group itself. We also have the Keeping It Realistic chat, for example, where Mike is also active, and everybody's just so helpful to each other, providing each other with constructive criticism and feedback, and just being there for the others, even if it's not like giving feedback for an image, but somebody having an issue, even a personal one. People are there, which I personally find to be amazing. And I will read this command that Mike referred to from Simon, who says, there is no vaccine for our coronavirus. It's spreading as our love is spreading in this campus. And it definitely is. Being the one taking care of the campus, I absolutely believe in it. It's a pure pleasure to be there, because seeing how these people help each other, and we as mentors help them as well, and them advancing quicker and having a better time is so rewarding and fulfilling. I love it.
The thing is that a lot of beginners feel very lost, and well, starting in 3ds Max, just like Lewis said, and my story was basically the same. First time I opened the 3D software, I was like, okay, what is this? What's that button? I was just afraid. But having this kind of campus, this kind of community, helps us bring new people into the industry, also share knowledge, and that is the main thing for me. It's also kind of my outlet. Lots of my friends DM me on a daily basis asking how to do this, how to do that. Here I can do it on mass scale.
That's rather pragmatic, because everyone sees it. So if you answer or give a feedback to one person, but everybody else who reads these commands gets the knowledge from this, which is wonderful. Thank you very much, Mike. Who wants to continue?
I can maybe add something to this as well.
Luis.
Okay, thank you. I think I've started being more involved or heavily involved with Chaos over the last 2 or 3 years. Let's say I think it started with 24 Hours of Chaos, and then it sort of moved on from there to more of the in-person events, and that was quite an interesting thing, because 24 Hours of Chaos was awesome, but it was more about the green room and getting to know the creatives and other sort of heads of different studios and things, and that was super cool. That was like a little taster of because we have our sort of community in London, and at that point in time I hadn't had that much access apart from state of art academy days or D2 and stuff like that. But it's just kind of interesting because you're not there to attend another lecture. You're there to actually give a talk about something, right? And that sort of very quick exchange of ideas was really cool and really refreshing. And I sort of got hooked on that. Then going to different places and seeing the different communities and their ideas of like what the London community is like in 3D London and all that kind of stuff, and seeing in their own local regions how some of those things have started to also gather and progress and have their own communities. And you know, the thing I found fascinating was like, yeah, London is cool and is established, but everyone was always kind of like, well, you know, you have all this thing in London, and we're just starting here. But a lot of those events there actually were the best ones I've ever attended, because you see sort of people really happy and feel really grateful to find like-minded people, get inspired by other people who are more advanced than them or do a slightly different version of what they do. And then and it doesn't matter the age. I've seen so many people from like super young, absolutely hungry entrepreneurs to older people who are still doing it after a very long time and still sort of coming up and asking questions. And I say, oh, I've seen what you did here and stuff. And that energy is really infectious. And that energy was one of the things that I think kind of got me going. I think last year, Kalina, Nikos and I did a bit of a world tour. And we went to so many places, so many planes, so many long flights and things. And, you know, however amazing and like exotic that sounds, it's super tiring as well. But being there on site afterwards and interacting with people and the amount of stuff that people get from it. For example, like I've been friends with Nikos for a very long time, and we reconnected at Chaos Campus as well. That was one of the first ones. And then seeing him in person, giving his masterclass, giving his sort of jazz hands and style and his mastery of the subject matter and how it impacts people was really fucking inspiring as well. So, you know, it's that really amazing thing that I just want to keep supporting, because it's about giving back to the community and uniting the community and letting all of us weirdos have our little place to kind of be ourselves. Because, you know, what we do isn't really, you know, the common thing out there. Like you tend to find yourself as like everyone who does a profession and then one or two visualizers that we can't really stop talking about what we do. And sometimes it doesn't gel with other people. So that's my 2 cents. Go, Dionysios.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Luis. Well, I'm doing presentations for 25 years, actually. Okay. I did a lot for Autodesk. I don't remember the number. I really hundreds and hundreds. And I've seen a lot of people, and I did training, and I'm still doing some of training. But with Chaos, I started working. I was talking about the Corona render without being involved with Chaos directly since 2016. I love and I participate almost every year at an event in Italy, which is the DDD from our friends, fantastic people, 3DWS, 3DWS. And there I was, of course, presenting my job, my images, my projects, or personal or with piano at that moment. And I was talking about Corona. And after some years, actually last year, thanks to Kalina, of course, I had the chance to start working with Chaos. And everything started with the Unbox events. I did London, Milan, and here Paris, and now we have other stuff going on. And I was really glad, because I said, wow, okay, now I can go in that ship also and give my expertise and my art to the people, because that's the very beautiful thing. Everybody said that communicate with the others, communicate with people that they need us. You know, we are experts, modesty apart. Okay, we are experts. We know what we're doing. We are artists. And I mean, you know, guys, I live here in Paris for 10 years almost. Paris is a very artistic city. It has a lot of history, and the painters many years ago, okay, they were going to the bars of Paris just to chat, to speak each other, and there were no computers there at that time. There was no technology, but they were just chatting. They were just they were talking about their art. So I think we have to continue doing that. It's very important. There is no battle between the artists. It's just to compare my job with another job, understand some things, understand how you see the lighting, how you see this thing, how you see that, and do your own.
So it's exchange. It's
that's right. That's the correct word. Yeah, it's exchanging and comparing, and this is how you learn. Actually, if you are on your own, you can't learn. When I started doing 3D at that time, I had some references in my life, and I was saying, "Wow, they do some very great things. If they can do it, I can do it as well. But I will do it on my own way." So you have to exchange. You have to compare yourself with the others. It's very important. This is what we do in the community. We give our art, we give our vision, we give something very important. Nikos talked about before. It's very important. Our passion. You need passion, and then everything is happening. It will happen.
And we need to support each other, I would say, because we have no lobby like many other
industries. That's something very important, and that's a big problem. Actually, we have no lobby. We have no officially. We have nothing.
Yeah, we're not seen as important as we actually often are, which is sad.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
For this insight. I have a question from Amit, but I still want to hear Nadia and Nikos and Tom and Kali as well, because you all are on the way the whole time, or very often at least, and you see the communities all over the world. So please continue with your stories. They're very awesome to hear.
Yeah, I can go. I started with the Chaos events in 2023 September, and I was contacted from Peter Sturks, from the CEO of Xoyo, that is always organizing with Kalina and Chaos the meetup in Berlin. And so he contacted me to ask me if I was interested in being a speaker, and that's how I get in touch with Kalina. When we met in Berlin, me and Kalina, we felt in love. It was like knowing each other since years. I don't know how, but it happens a few times with people, and it happened with Kalina as well. And for me, it was very strange to attend the meetup as a speaker and not as a part of the audience, because I decided to explore this field thanks to my first conference that was the D2 in 2018. And so at that time I decided, okay, great, I love the vibes in this conference, so I want to continue going into these conferences and keep going in this field. And so then when Kalina asked me to be a speaker, I was, oh my God, what? For me it was the first time. And so from that point, so my first time was in Berlin, and then my second time was in London last year in May with the 3D Meetup London, and then again in Milan, and then the DDD in Arezzo in Tuscany. Today, next month, there will be another event also sponsored by Chaos, that is the 3D London, so I will be there as well. And so all these events for me are very important for the energy that I receive from the people, and also the energy that I feel I give to people, because they told me. And also, every time I go to these events, something is coming to my mind. So I keep my motivation high, And that's how also this keeps me motivated to do new personal projects. And in this way, I can also push my creativity up to the next level, step by step, of course, because I need to learn a lot of things still. But yeah, all these conferences are really keeping my motivation very high. And every time I meet all the people from the chaos, it's always so funny, but not only from chaos, all the people that are attending the conference, but especially with the chaos guys. At every conference that I go, there is one or two new guys from chaos that I never met before, and every time it's like knowing each other since years before, and so it's great. I think it's great to bring this energy all together, and I feel like in a family every time I attend these conferences, and it's great, I think. And so thank you for.
So the inspiration seems to go both ways. It's not only you inspiring the audience there, but
and for me, as I told you before, people are very important, and so this energy, the energy coming from the people, it's everything, no? It's what keeps your passion alive.
And as for the family feeling, I think in our industry or in our field, I don't feel that we have this type of hierarchy, like, these VIPs, rock stars. I find, I myself being a rock fan, I find it kind of a big pity how nowadays, if you want to see your favorite rock star, they are like actual stars. They are more like Mariah Carey, you need to pay thousands to be able to meet and greet them, and they need their rooms filled with rose petals and stuff like this, which isn't rock at all, if you ask me. And on the contrary, in our field, we have it so much better. You see one person talking in front of the audience the one moment, and the next moment they're behind the curtain and you're just having a beer together, discussing something, and it just feels so genuine, so close. There is no distance there, which is absolutely fulfilling and awesome to experience. So to everyone watching this, if there is an event happening somewhere near you, even if it's not a chaos event, make sure to attend, because the connection that you feel there is something that you cannot have this way online. This is just the way it is. So yeah, thank you very much. I feel the same. And regarding the chaos folks, this is something which really, from the bottom of my heart, absolutely honest, each and every person that I had contact from chaos so far has been absolutely amazing. This is just like they don't say, we need the most skilled people. They are, but they say we want the most awesome people, the coolest folks out there together in this company. It's really amazing on every level. It's wonderful. So yeah, just wanted to chime in. And of course, Nikos, Skali, Tom, please tell us more about the events and the how you experience the chaos community.
Can I go next very shortly?
Go, Kalitakos, go.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything that you're sharing is amazing. It really resonates. I remember when I first started going to events, when I joined, as I said, like 6 years ago, and I was like, what the hell is this industry? What the hell is going on? Because there was too much information. And people were name dropping the whole time, and it was very difficult for me to catch up with the amount of information. So then at some point, going to events really helped me to realize what we're doing and what the meaning behind what we're doing in my job is. Just meeting the people, the faces, their stories, and getting to know that those people are very humble and not only freaking talented, but very, very humble and open to help and to support each other. And I also wanted to share that we have 2 events coming up. We have one in Berlin on the 20th of March. It's going to be called Chaos Meetup, but it's basically the same format like the Unboxed event. Cool, informal. You'll get some cool insights from different speakers, and then, of course, networking and drinks at the end. And then we have something very special with Mr. Nikos. We have 3D Atlas happening on the 5th of March. I'm very excited because it's going to be warm, and here in Berlin it's -9. So super excited about this one as well.
That's cool.
Thank you. Nikos.
Yes. First, I would like to add something on your comment. Basically, as you said, people, they should go to events, find out what's next to you. And when you go, don't be shy. Try to connect. Like, seriously, talk to everybody. When I moved to London in 2010, that's how I know my dear friend Luis. I asked around, like, you guys, is there something happening about our quiz? I didn't know anybody. It was a decision for me to move to London because, I wanted to meet new people, do bigger projects, new clients. It's exciting time, but I didn't know anybody. So I started attending 3D London on a monthly basis. All the top players and artists and creatives and studios was there. Like, that's how I know, like, the Boundary, Peter Guthrie, Luis, Recent Spaces, all these people were there. So for me, events are amazing because you're getting inspiration, you're sharing knowledge, you elevate one another, and you went back home with new ideas. And that's true what it has to offer. Now, Chaos, on the other hand, they're doing amazing stuff, man. Seriously, 24-hour Chaos, I was also involved. They break a record by doing 24 hours live streaming. 3D Berlin, for my first time in Berlin, I was there with Luis, we had an amazing time. So many people giving us, oh my God, like serious amazing presentations. And then for the first time, I saw Nadia presenting, talking about storytelling. She's a great storyteller. I love your work. You know that, Nadia. Then I asked Nadia to come to the Chaos Campus Live show. Everybody blown their minds with her skills and knowledge, Then I invited Luis to come to the show. He inspired me, and then I inspired him back in Berlin. That's how it goes. It's like it's a beautiful journey we started together. Chaos is like the old Nokia, connecting people. Do you remember the slogan, connecting people? Yeah. That's Chaos, man. I'm telling you. And I can give you stories. So my last guest at Chaos Campus was Pedro Fernandez from Arc9. Everybody know the guy, amazing skills, with Timon, his creative director. So amazing show, by the way. And then at the same night, Pedro texted me on WhatsApp, a voice message. And he said, Nikos, you won't believe what happened. I was in my house getting the garbage out, and my neighbor approached me and said, are you Pedro Fernandez? Yes. From Arc9? Yes. From the Chaos Campus Live show. So basically, his neighbor saw live the show. He didn't know it's his neighbor until he saw him afterwards. He's like, I can't believe it. You're my neighbor. I just saw you on the Chaos Campus Live show. It's like, this is the power of events. Even if it's online, even if it's on site, we're connected. And that's amazing. I asked Luis to come to Athens for a half an hour talk. He gave us 2 hours masterclass, and everybody was just looking. And they couldn't believe what is possible these days with technology and creativity. Of course, I never told him. He's like, Luis, keep doing what you're doing, man. We just stay longer, like 9, 10, we're talking about 10 at night. We stay longer admiring and learning new things. And that's the power of events. And Chaos is going to sponsor the next the Athens event, which is exciting, and I can't wait to be there and host it. And Kalina, she's going to bring an amazing 3D ninja, and Anastasia, which I don't know, but I'm going to meet. This is what is possible these days with events. And if somebody is listening and he said, I still can't find an event around me, but with the passion, create one. Start small. Get 10 people in a room talking about their passion. Sooner or later, you're going to have 20 people, 100, and then you never know. Everything is possible in life, okay? That's my advice.
I really know no other company, I mean, in our field, of course, that does so much for the community. And I don't say it because I collaborate with Chaos. I really don't know. I also nothing anything else like comparable to the Chaos campus. The Hablamos Chaos, which is, by the way, another Chaos group, just the Spanish-speaking one. But apart from this, most groups are just more or less online galleries or archives, for example. Just, talking about the group, because this is where I'm more of an expert at compared to all of you. So, yeah, and it's just really something else. Having this community, having these dedicated shows, that all of this comes from Chaos, and of course the mentors and everybody who wants to participate. But I have never seen something like this. So, yeah, it's wonderful what Chaos does for the community, and I think the community really appreciates this. At least the smart ones do. Tom, what would you say about the community?
Yeah, I mean, community online and off, in person and online, very important. It's kind of the unlisted feature of Corona. We don't program it, so we can't really put it on the feature list, but it's very important. It comes along with Corona. You get to be a Corona, join the community. I started with TrueSpace as a hobbyist back in 2000, and because it was an underdog, it was a bit of a strange little product compared to Max and everything else that was on the go. It had a really good community. There was forums, people would help each other. There was a weekly meetup. And so I was part of that. Eventually, I actually joined the company, Caligari, and I worked in their marketing for 10 years with a focus on the community because, I'd been part of it. I wanted to stay part of it. So a similar thing happened when I moved to Corona. I was actually using Modo, but I was a freelancer at this point, and I was forced to use Max. Max. I was forced to use it because other visualizers animators were using it too. So you have to use Max so we can exchange files. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to find a render engine because, you load up Max and you use Scanline or Mental Ray and you've come from Modo, you're just like, this is no good. So Corona was part of that. That was the one I fell in love with. And part of that was the community. There was the forums there was the conversations. I was popping on them asking questions. And that's how come I ended up joining them when they wanted somebody in marketing. And again, I keep this alive that community is very important. It doesn't matter how good a support team you have. You can't be there 24/7. You're not necessarily an artist. The tech support team are there for technical problems. And sometimes people want to learn about color theory and composition. And, there's just no way we can have an expert in everything. But we can when we have a community. So, and it's still important to me to this day as a PM, as the product manager, because, it's the community that gives us feedback. What's working? What isn't working? What do they want to see? This helps us shape the direction of Corona. So it's a huge benefit to us, but ultimately it's a huge benefit to the users. That's really the important thing. A huge benefit to the users. And if you can get to in-person events, they're the best. They're my favorite. Getting to meet people face to face. It normally involves beer, I have to admit. And that's good too. But I've had the most fantastic time getting to meet people in person. If you haven't been to an event, go. If you've been going, keep going. Think about speaking. If you've never spoken or presented, do so. Everybody has an interesting, unique viewpoint to share. They have something that will inspire or guide or help somebody else. So as I say, I love the community, and I do think it's a critical component of what Corona is.
That sounded awesome. Community is essential. Can we agree on this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. And Tom, while we're still having you there, tell us from your point of view, let's change the subject before we go back to the community once again, where we also will have the questions. What are some of the features or changes, some of your favorite features or changes in Corona that resonated with you more? And of course, this is a question for everybody else.
So I'd say, I started using Corona at 1.2, and I joined the company, I think, with 1.4. So there were some features that were added before then that I didn't get to see, but the ones I love the most, the interactive rendering was just critical to me in choosing it. Light Mix, when it came out, was just fantastic. I was part of the company by then. I think actually that was, I think that was 1.4 when I joined. So one of the first things I was marketing was Light Mix. It was just a game changer. It was like being able to adjust the lighting after you'd done a render. So you could set things up to have a nighttime shot, noon shot, and golden hour. And you just press render once. You don't have to render it 3 times. Was fantastic. I also love the Prague sky, the procedural sky. It's still growing. There are still plans for it to continue to grow. It started off as just nice sun and blue sky, and then we got good evenings, and then we got clouds, and then we got even better evenings. The sun can really sink below the horizon. I've loved watching that develop, and I don't do as much 3D these days, obviously, as I used to. But it's my go-to if ever I'm testing some. I haven't used an HDRI in ages, basically. It's like, procedural sky will do just fine, especially because I can animate it, which is very hard with an HDRI. You can have the clouds moving across, getting thicker, getting lighter, whatever it is. Go from a cloudy day to a sunny day. So, light mix, interactive rendering, scatter. I also love that, which was originally Corona scatter. It's now Chaos scatter, of course. It's now available in all our products. Same with light mix. Same with the Prague Sky. So Scavo, Prague Sky, light mix, and whatever. Oh, interactive rendering. Those are my favorite things I've seen grow and improve over since 1.2 till today.
This is awesome. What about the others?
Well, I'm gonna take the word,
please.
Yes, please.
Yes. But for me, guys, before Corona, for me was the perfection was Iray. Okay, the perfection was Iray because of the interactivity, and I was amazed by something that was incredible at that time. It was the precision of shadows and the detail that we could have in a render. For me, was something amazing. Okay, it was amazing because it was a full unbiased render. So we had no photons, no settings. It was just you build your stuff, you prepare your lighting, you prepare your material, and you just hit render. That's it. Okay. But really, it was simple like that. Okay. But when I started, we had some technological issues, limits. I mean, I was working with, it was a GPU render, and the memory was 4 gigs for each card. So everything was necessary to fit in a 4 VRAM memory. And if you go to my site and the people are watching, if you go to the Evolvia imaging site, I have at the start of, at the end, sorry, of the gallery, I have the Iray renders there. I mean, everything was done in 4 gigs of VRAM. Okay, so Corona was, for me, was it was the next step. It was not a game changer; it was a render changer. It was like Iray, but everything that Iray didn't have. It was, everything was fit in Corona. This is what's happening right now. So we have the interactive render, as Tom said, the fantastic physical sky. Okay, we have a very good precision of shadows and detail. It's incredible. I mean, it can do everything. You can see everything. It's an unbiased render, yeah, but it's a bit hybrid because we have some other stuff doing in the rendering engine. This is why it's a bit faster, of course. Then I love that you can put a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm known for the being the ball breaker of the render engines. I love to just bring them to the limit. Really, I just it's like the airplanes tasting pilots that you just take the airplane, you don't know if it will come down or explode or anything like that. I love just putting on the limits the rendering engines, and Corona, it's incredible. I mean, you can do some very, very, very heavy stuff inside, and it can handle everything you put in. It's fantastic. Displacement, it's really revolutionary. Every year it's getting better and better and better. I mean, it's really cool. And then, yeah, everything they put in, like the Corona maps list, like I use always triplanar, I use always the randomizer mapping, which, I mean, I can't live without these things. I can't. For me, it's a must. And then Corona tiles, yeah, the ambient occlusion inside, and we have the curvature, we have the light mix, which is revolution, we have round edge. I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on. So it's a very, very complete product.
Corona tiles is amazing, right? I think as it came out, people kind of overlooked it a bit, like, okay, why do we need this? But Corona tiles is absolutely amazing.
Well, if you do architecture, you need that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you need that. You can. I mean, tiling. It's tiling. You need the tiling everywhere.
And randomizer, of course. I love
that. That's I really, something. I try to approach the real-time render industry, but missing triplanar and randomizer from some engines, for me, was really a problem, because, I mean, how can I work without them right now?
Impossible, right?
That's right.
Some materials, and the randomize each tile function is just so amazing for some materials where you don't see it, like concrete or something like this. It's wonderful.
It's fantastic.
Agree. Thank you very much, Mike. I see
welcome.
you want to say something.
Not really. I just wanted to props what Dionysios said, because Lightmix is for me a bigger feature than the whole AI revolution going on now. That was the biggest game changer for me. Once it got added to our rendering engine, it was just totally different experience for me. At the time when it was introduced, I was working on a project for a football player, and it was supposed to be a living room with a party option. And well, trying to render that twice at the computer I was rocking at the time was absolutely not an option, especially with a tight deadline. And Lightmix just came out of the blue, and it really changed everything for me. Product design, animation, everything. So for me, that's apart from everything you just said, Lightmix is just so huge and so underrated. I cannot just live without it.
Pure magic, right?
Can I say something?
Please do.
I just want to do a little showcase of let's just call it a little love letter to Corona and the boundless creativity it allows, let's say, and how flexible I see it and why it's my go-to sort of thing. I mean, this is kind of a best of little heart there, a best of some of the stuff that I've done, and some of my colleagues have done as well, but I just wanted to show you first in terms of images. So, you know, we talk about it sort of in terms of architecture, but you know, I think it's one of the most versatile render engines, and I don't know the specifications of the things that happen under the bonnet and under the hood and why it can be or can't be used for certain things or this or that. I just know that we can actually do some absolutely insane shit with it. And you can go from this sort of, you know, car render using volumetric materials on it with animated smoke. All this is done with Lightmix and kind of relighting in post and all these things, to, you know, very, very realistic humans that we've sort of managed to get to this level, once again using multi-map and subsurface scattering and all that stuff. Lightmix, once again, this is one of those cases where we created a little environment rig around the thing. We call it the what was it, the Giga rig. Robin did it, and it's kind of based on, you know, Paul Debevec's scanning system for people. That is like a sort of a light dome. All of it gets put into Lightmix, and then you just do one render, and that at the end of it, you literally just like stylistically choose what light is on and stuff. So you kind of do it in one go, and then get to do all the posts and stuff. Even stuff like this, where we sort of, you know, did a more of a lifestyle render, just threw it in there, used a terrible 3D asset, low res thing, and then obviously like this is a slightly more recent, but not that recent image, which we kind of did a bit of AI upscaling on to kind of see what we could do with the combination of both of the things. Once again, using the exact same method as the original car one. To, you know, to really beautiful sort of lifestyle photography vignette. I don't know what you want to call this. It's not a cinematography, it's not animated, but, you know, bokeh, depth of field, all these things were very prohibitive at some point in time, and you could never really, in a full production environment, afford the compute power and time to do these things until Corona came out. Because normally in the brochures and catalogs, these tended to be the things that clients would hire a photographer to go on site and then shoot all these things, and then you saw this really big difference between what was rendered, and you had to put the tagline of like artist interpretation, of like CGI representative image, not reflective of reality or whatever, whereas now you can do a full complete catalog of super consistent beautiful imagery in the same theme. To this kind of stuff, you know, once again, it's kind of the same principle as the other one. It's like this was lit so simply, but just because of the quality of the materials and you can just focus on just being a creative. You know, I mean, like you don't have to, even the eyes, like little highlights on the eyes, you just kind of do a self-illuminated material. It appears in the light select as kind of the rest or whatever it is. And then you can kind of mix it and match it. You know, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You know, alpha displace textures that they're in the background, but they look like it's a particle effect. And people tend to go, oh my God, what did you use for the simulation? A 2D cutout card. Very difficult. To high-end interior renders, you know, light and bright and all these like super beautiful things, exactly the same render engine. To one image that was a still from an image from a film that we did, that we also did animations for, that then we kind of AI upscaled a little bit just to get the people in there, but you got all the super beautiful bloom and glare that once that got introduced into Corona was a game changer, because you didn't have to Google bloom and glare and lens flares in you know, and to go to the internet. It just came in the frame buffer. You know, you can do more lifestyle things. You know, this was pre-AI. This was find Getty images thing and enhance the person's face. But once again, like great composition, volume light, volume things everywhere, motion blur. Don't think about it. Just render it. Be creative. Come up with this shit. To, you know, whatever, photo montage, standard, beautiful project, but, you know, that kind of standard stuff, to really stylistic, you know, things, just like colored light, like this could have been done with just 2 white lights and then you tint them. But once again, flexibility in the background, just strong graphic design. And I'm going to show 2 little videos very quickly of the exact same thing. So once again, it's the power of Corona. Just you know, just think of something and just do it. Why not? Who says no? You know, this is part of a film that we were working on before. It's a super punch. So, you know, people ask, oh, what's that? What did you use to simulate the fluid? 3D sky model of water exploding. FFD mesh deformation, and then a bit of grading, and then the fist had an FFD as well to deform it. So no advanced animation necessary. And the other side of that super punch, which was fully in frame, absolutely no post whatsoever, Poseidon there. So everything that was captured there is all the depth of field, bokeh, all these things like falling into the camera as they would. You get all these little flickery bits and stuff as it would happen if it's shot in slow motion. All these amazing, amazing things that I could honestly not do if it weren't for Corona, because other stuff is really about the settings. And the last time I did a 0.01 on duplicate faces, that was not a happy day.
So what I get out of this is everything about Corona is your favorite.
I love it. Decals. We didn't talk about decals, tattoos, and all that shit, but that's for another day.
And also why approach a problem or an issue or a situation in a difficult way with particles when you can actually do it with an FFD modifier, right?
Old school mindset.
Keep it simple, right?
The KISS method.
Yeah. Nadia, Nikos, what about you?
I mean, everyone already said everything, I would say. Yeah, for me, the sky was great because you can change the clouds, you can use the volumetric material also to a different kind of atmosphere. And I think it's very important to make images more realistic, because we never think that there is something in the real life that is the air. No, we need to render the air in some way, and we can render it only with the volumetric material. And so I think we always need to use the volumetric material both for exteriors and also for interiors, because the air is always there, otherwise we cannot breathe. So yeah, it's one of the most important things with also the imperfections. And so all the maps that Corona has can make our work easier because we can randomize all the dirt and all the imperfections that the materials in the real life have. And so, yeah, this.
Thank you very much. Nikos?
I mean, everybody said great stuff. I'm just going to go with interactive rendering, which I love. The volumetric material, as Nadia and Luis said, and of course, light mix. I think light mix is pure innovation. I'm addicted to it. I can't stop playing with light mix. I mean, it's not about playing with intensity color. It's about bringing your creative ideas to life. And that's the power of it. And if you master and understand it, there's so many possibilities you can do with my light mix. And when it came out, I remember straight away with the script to allow the users to reorder the light selects, sort by name, select, delete the light selects all interactively. And you're welcome to share the script, of course, if you want to the community of Chaos Campus, in case I don't have it. Of course, when I did the script, I said it straight away to the developers of Corona and the community, and everybody loved it, because light mix for me is a winning. I cannot seriously do anything without it. So I will definitely go with number one feature of light mix for Corona, and everything else, of course, that everybody mentioned. It's super powerful and must have.
You'll be mentioning this on the Arvis masterclasses, I assume, and you're showing how you use light mix, right?
I demonstrate how to use light mix because people still sometimes don't understand it, like how powerful it can be. They see it as a feature, and that's it, but it's a lot more than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, what you really nicely show there is how to properly structure your light mix as well, how to add lights to it, and not just automatically add all lights to it, because then it could be easily get messy and drain your RAM. But by adding the light one by one,
I don't know what to do. I'm feeling lost. So a bit of it's a workflow, right? You have to have a structure or a philosophy around it. So if you do it well and you name it properly, then you have the power.
Exactly. Nobody mentioned the live link to Vantage, and my personal favorite map.
You bring it too soon.
I was going to try and smoothly segue into that.
I was saving it for last.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, took it from you. So let me mention my favorite maps, which are the Corona distance map, which I use on every project. Doesn't matter if exterior or interior. I love the distance map.
Yeah, you're right.
The curvature map, which was introduced in one of the more recent installments of Corona. I love those two. I use them on every project. But yeah, about the live link to Vantage, Luis, you want?
Oh yeah. So I was so happy the day that Chaos let us know when I was at Narrative that they were working on a connection between Corona and Vantage. Because I've wanted to use Vantage for such a long time. I saw the potential in it. I hadn't seen up to that point like really, really, really amazing stuff. It's kind of stretching the potential of what it could be done. It was more sort of straightforward, project-based or small-scale stuff. And even though we did receive invitations like from the V-Ray stuff, I was very lazy. I didn't want to like play around with that. But as soon as I heard that Corona was there, like that perked up the ears. And when we were at Narrative, did like the launch film for it. But the one thing that we didn't have at that point in time, because it was basically plasters and sellotape and like ice cream sticks, the connection, incredible, was the full live link to kind of have a one-to-one par feature set with V-Ray. So when that shit comes out, then it is the ultimate Swiss Army knife, in my opinion. Like having the connection between Corona that I don't want to move at the moment, at least to any other stuff for the foreseeable future, and then being able to tap into Vantage, which I absolutely adore. And you can see some of the stuff that's on the Chaos website for that Narrative did. So yeah, when is there anything?
That'll be 13 at the latest. Very much doubt it'll be 12 update 2. We've got it planned for 13. Update 2 is going to be like a little branch of whatever is ready at the time. But it's due in March. So basically, take it to be June for Corona 13. You'll see rendering DCCs from your rendering animations from your DCC through the live link to Vantage.
That's amazing. We'll have some technical questions for you too later, Tom, as well, regarding Corona and Vantage Live Link. But how about talking about some birthday wishes? What do we all wish for Corona, for its future? Some features, improvements, something new.
Ooh.
I would say, oh, sorry, you can go.
No, you can go, Nadia.
You already started. Nadia.
I'm a gentleman. You can go.
Old school.
I step back.
I would say an AI denoising option. So something that, I don't know, we could set up a higher value of noise while we are rendering. And so at one point, the AI could do the rest. And so it will speed up the process of rendering, I think. And also procedural materials with imperfections and control, the ability of controlling better the imperfections on procedural materials also could be another wish.
Maybe some upscaling potential of some of the renders from the frame buffer using actual 3D data, and some of the cheeky stuff that has been happening in Enscape, as far as I understand, for the enhancements to vegetation and people, given that there's an extensive library of my favorite people simulation software ever that can be potentially tapped into.
That one's already underway. The AI enhancer from Enscape is being brought across to Corona and Vive with some enhancements, because Corona and Vive have the ability to generate object ID masks, cryptomat, whatever extra information you can use to isolate parts of the image and say, please enhance this, but leave my building alone, because my building has to be exactly as I've made it, but please enhance the person on the vegetation. So that's in progress, possibly in 13, but it may be 14. It depends how well it goes.
Dionysios. Sorry, Nikos.
Yeah, of course, that's something everybody wants. More speed. But that's not an issue right now. I mean, everybody wants more speed, okay? So I'm sure the guys will find some ways in the future to just accelerate a bit things. This is a rendering engine, so faster it is, better it is. So they will find the way. Something that I notice is that me, of course, like everybody, I use AI not to make better my images, okay? Because your images, they have to have a very good base. I don't want the AI to alter my quality and what I do as an artist. But I love that the AI, if you just put a bit, it just adds that imperfection and dirtiness on and the natural feeling that us artists, we can do that, but in many hours and shaders and all this stuff. So I would love a lot that just to find a way to add some dirt in our renders. I mean, not too much, of course, you can just handle that. Okay, but like a dirt map or something, without using the ambient occlusion techniques or curvator, just something that can go on the objects and on the surfaces and add this slight natural effect that we have in real life. For me, that will be fantastic. Without using AI all the time. I mean, that will be really cool. And what I want to wish to the guys that they're doing a marvelous job, just don't lose motivation, guys. Just continue like this. We can see your passion. Your passion is our tool, and just continue like this. Really, in 10 years, they did some amazing stuff. That's it.
Thank you. I'll make sure to pass that along to anybody in the team who is not watching. Some of them are. But
Thank
I'll
you.
make sure they all.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nikos.
Yes, I mean, I would like to, of course, I totally agree with the guys. We need more AI tools, especially the upscaling enhancement. It's something I'm using a lot, but going out of Corona. And as you know, be passionate about Corona. I don't want to go out to upscale and enhance. I would like to do it in-house, inside the software, in the frame buffer ideally. But Tom, do you know what I miss? I miss the roadmap. Why it's not updated? I was obsessed with it. I was going refresh every day, and it was up to speed.
On Trello.
Yes, it was. It's important to us.
The reason being, I was waiting for the video because I have recorded a video, but the video isn't coming out till the 25th. I thought it might be out like last week or the week before. So I was going to wait for the video and then update the roadmap because otherwise people have read the Trello. The video isn't telling them anything new, so I thought it'd be cool to unveil the video. But the video is going to take too long, so I'm going to update the Trello today.
Great.
Well, not today, but this week, tomorrow probably.
It's helping us to know what you guys are developing, what to expect in your release. We can provide some feedback and ideas in the meantime. We can download some beta versions you have, which I was doing the daily builds, which is amazing. I'm always testing the new stuff, give you feedback. You always respond back. It's just amazing, guys. Just keep innovating, keep being creative, and we follow you.
Yeah, we like to share the roadmap. I mean, I know some companies don't like to talk about what they're doing until they've done it, but we like to share it. Of course, we do ask you to understand it's a plan, it's a desire. It may not actually happen that way. Things may be late. There may be things that appear that we hadn't written down. But with that, with that mutual understanding with the community, we prefer to share it because we think it's good if people know what they can look forward to in some sort of rough time frame. So yeah, I'll get that done this week. That was actually raised, funnily enough, internally. Somebody was like, "Don't forget to update the Trello," and I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to wait for this video, but the video is going to be too long now. You're right. Let's go ahead and get it done." So I check tomorrow. Hit your refresh button tomorrow.
It's ready. I'm waiting. Bang, 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 bang.
Mike.
Hi.
Happy birthday, Corona. But if I would be to, let's say, wish some features, I would like to see more development in those user-friendly tools in the toolbars. The main toolbar wasn't updated for a while, and now with new tools in it, we could get more in there. But I love the quick tools that Corona introduced, and I think that was a very cool direction because it showed that not only the rendering engine is the part, but actually making our workflow a little bit more consistent, a little bit better. So all of that in the Corona Power Tools toolbar, I would like to see more development in there because honestly, this is one of those small yet super user-friendly tools. That'll be one thing. And second thing, if I can add, let's think about making the distributed rendering a little bit more user-friendly because my lizard brain cannot really comprehend it that much. So that'll be really cool. And other than that, thank you so much for developing it, Corona, for being pretty much the industry standard for the past 10 years and keep innovating because each time Corona creates something, it's so obviously amazing that suddenly it becomes a standard. And this is something that I hate and love about Corona because once they introduce a feature, it suddenly is like, yeah, I forgot about breathing. Yeah, but how could I not live? How could I not breathe earlier? And really, it's just that type of involvement in the industry that I love about Corona the most, because all the changes are so obviously needed, and everything that comes into this software just immediately becomes the standard, and everybody has to adapt or die. So that's what I love about it. So keep doing that.
Thank you. And I've written these down as we've gone along, by the way, all the suggestions and wish lists. So thank you. And for anybody out there who wants to add their wish list, there's the Community Ideas portal. We welcome you to a vote for an idea that you want. If it's already on there, add an idea. If it's not, we always want to hear your feedback. It's only started up like 6 months ago, but now every time we're thinking about what we'll go into the next release, having a look at what's top on the ideas portal, what people want, is important. Like the Tomb Shader. It's been requested for a long time on the forums, but it was one of the top items in the ideas portal when we were planning out 13. So it's in 13.
Is it?
Yes.
The Tomb Shader?
Yes,
Yeah.
in June. In Corona 13.
Oh, nice. That's
See, this is why I need to update the roadmap. Look,
you do, man. Do it. That's one of those features that I really remember being there since day one. I actually created my forum account just to request a couple of things. And the main developer directly said to me, nah, that's not happening anytime soon. And yeah, that's amazing to hear that, because Tomb Shader is so needed for ArcViz, for everything, really.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm again excited.
See, it was worth coming on here just for that, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
There are some awesome suggestions from the comments as well. Having a paintbrush for dirt maps like in Substance, or having the option to exclude objects from HDRI maps, a profiler like the VRAVE profiler, showing what's eating up the render times, converting the Corona scene to a VR scene more efficiently with less incompatibilities, but I think this is something which comes with time.
That's just ongoing, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And unsupported materials getting replaced by Corona physical material when importing models from other softwares like SketchUp, Revit, and so on. So people have great ideas. Make sure to reach out to the forum and make sure that the developers can actually hear your voice.
Yeah.
Because here in the chat, it can go under a bit. But I think these were wonderful wishes and wonderful stuff that you love about Corona. We all love Corona here, I think. Okay, let's go back to the community topic, because we're already 2 hours in, and we don't want the show to be 3 hours. On the other hand, it's like a very large panel, and it's a birthday party, so it's a bit normal for it to be a bit longer. We want to talk once again about the community. It's time for you, dear audience, to ask your questions if you have any. I have written down some of your questions already, which I'll ask our panelists. And Claudio is here, by the way. Talking about community, we have to mention him because he's the one who really, really believes in communities and started establishing the Chaos Camp, or continued establishing the Chaos Campus community. And it's awesome to have you here, dear Claudio. And to you, my friends here, what is your advice for the community? Let's say on the technical side, some tips and tricks to help newcomers go from zero to hero. And then on the maybe organizational or business side, what are your recommendations when it comes to starting or advancing a career in 3D?
Go into finance.
Reconsider, right? Mike, you were the first
lines.
one, I think, who wanted to speak, please.
Sorry?
I think you were the first one who.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to latch on to the from zero to hero. My first advice for anybody starting would be to learn to map and randomize maps. You cannot imagine how powerful it is, because just a good texture with proper randomization is going to give you so much realism in your shot. It's going to make your work so much more powerful, and it also is so forgiving on the, let's say, poorly modeled objects, that you can get away with a lot if your shader is properly randomized. So that's my fastest from zero to hero route for anybody.
That was awesome. Who's next? Dionysios, please.
Theo, I'm sorry, and I also ask sorry to all the people, the audience, that I'm not going to be, it's not going to be a technical advice, but a more philosophical advice, okay? Because I think this is what we miss today, because we have a a lot of information. We have YouTube, you have the community, we have a lot of stuff happening. And me personally and other people that started at my age, I'm almost 50, okay, almost 50, we had nothing. So by having nothing, sometimes you can be more creative. You can be free to create your own way of art. And now the young people, they have a lot of resources that we didn't have. So what I want to say is just be different, be unique, and find your own artistic language. Be original. I mean, I see many people just copying the others, and that's a shame, because many images or videos are just very similar to each other, and I don't read the identity of the artist. I mean, Corona, it's only a tool. Max is only a tool. It's like the painting, the canvas. It's. I love music. I see Tom loves music as well, plays music. So these are tools. Yeah, everything it's a tool. You have your personality. So I would like to see that more personality from the artistic side of the young people. Just to see some new stuff, new lighting, new ideas, something new.
No, I think that's going to be increasingly important up against AI and similar stuff. If you want to stand out, having an actual artistic personality, which AI is not so good at. I mean, it is about regurgitating, reusing existing stuff. So I would encourage people, in fact, even before AI, I always would. You're dead right. Have personality, have something that's kind of recognizably you, that makes your stuff a little bit different or a lot different, so that when somebody sees an image, they go, oh, I wonder if that was so-and-so. Oh, it was. I think people like Mia have been very good at doing this. And I think it's very important to, if you want to stand out and not just be run of the mill, I think that's a great piece of advice.
You need to stick out. Nikos, please.
I would like to continue that journey, because I totally agree with Dionysios and Tom, but I would like to talk about personal experience as well. So basically, embrace new technologies, yes, but don't forget the storytelling. From my experience, my work changed completely in quality and story-wise when I started going to museums. I remind myself, Nikos, you're a creator. Start looking paintings. Why not? Again, you've seen them as a kid. Go see them again, go to exhibitions, watching films, analyze art directors, creative directors, analyze cinematographers, photographers. Basically, finding masters and learn from them helped me a lot, because then I start having new, beautiful compositions in my work, better use of light, creative use of light. I start using creative use of color in my work. All that because I start going back to the fundamentals. So don't forget, the software is getting better every day. But what about yourself? Invest time in your knowledge and go out, take pictures, enjoy the view, learn from the view. Photography is important. So all these tips is going to help you to become a better artist. But again, storytelling is important. Yes, embrace new technology, but you are the storyteller. And these are all tools that's going to allow you to tell better stories.
Yeah, I can go. I think nowadays the new generations that want to have a career in this field, they have more powerful tools. They have the AI and all these things, and maybe they could think that the work would be easier. I think it's the opposite, because maybe they can put everything on the AI, but at the end, all the images can come out all the same, because they are made from the AI. And I think what makes the difference is our minds, is the humanity minds. And so if you put that first, and maybe you can just do a little touch of AI after, but first of all, everything needs to come from your mind. I think that makes a difference. And to make the difference, you need to go out. You don't have to stay in front of the computer just watching tutorials and try new stuff on the program, because of course you have to do it, but at the same time you need to go out, you need to meet people, you need to look at the translucency of the leaves on the trees, you have to look on the forest parts of the grass that we have on the parks. So you have to go to the theater to study the lights, no? and to do those lights in your scene, to bring those lights in your scene. And you have to test different things, and you have to explore what you like more, what you are passionate about. And then when you find your path, you will see everything can come naturally, and you will put all these things all together to create something new and something different from the others. And so I think this is very, very important. And yeah, for sure, the technical skills are important, but you will develop them during the time. But the other skills, you need to work on them day by day. And doing also photography, it's very important. You could set up goals when you go for a walk for photography. For example, you can say, okay, today let's take photos to people to understand storytelling, or let's take photo to reflections. So the reflections on the buildings, on the streets, or maybe let's take photos to the translucency in general. So, or the textures, the imperfection of the materials. So there are different goals that you can set up and work on them, but all these things comes outside of a machine, of a computer. And so, yeah, this is my best advice.
Wonderful advices. Who's next?
Well, theoretically, that'll be me, but I'm left in a very awful position now where everyone's given like all the good advice out and all the bases covered and all the like, meaningful.
But you can give us some bad advice. What's the worst advice?
Exactly. No, I think like just maybe like a conclusion to kind of all the above. It's like the life of a creative is a very interesting one and a very fascinating one and a very rewarding one, but the other side of creativity is also what they call the creative roller coaster, right? And one can be very harsh on oneself, and one can be very, very sort of, very unkind. And you can be sort of starting a project, and it's very, very slow and sluggish. A career, one might say, depending on the time. Like at the beginning, everything is exciting. And everything is like, we live in an age of wonder right now. Like for whatever you want, there is always 10,000 tips and tutorials and videos on that one particular tangent. So what we lack now is time, really, and like ultimately. But yeah, at the beginning, like absorb as much as you can, be a sponge, see the world like a child again, right? Be a baby, learn, like remember that you didn't know how to talk and you didn't know how to walk and you didn't know how to change your own diapers, whoever's still using them. But
talk about yourself.
I mean, keep a secret. No, I'm
kidding.
And like when you sort of become more experienced, maybe a couple of years in, then it becomes more about the craft of image making, and then the craft of filmmaking, and then the craft of understanding who this is for an audience, and random shit like what's the cost of the floor plate of this building? Who is this for? Do you have a profile of the who we're selling this to from the branding agency who's creating all the branding and all the stuff that is connected to the project? Think of projects as things that are interconnected, ultimately, not in isolation. The client isn't bad. They're not dicks. The agency is trying to get this away from us. Everyone's a team, right? Once you become a senior, then it becomes more about management and kind of client communications and understanding, reading between the lines, and really getting their pulse on messaging, storytelling, fundamentals, what's important. It's no longer about the tools. Then this is the point where you go, wow, take photos, get inspired, live. You need to live. It's not just the computer. The computer is fascinating and amazing, but you have to live to then be able to come and imbue all that shit into the artwork. Because one of the things that we are interpreters, right? And we love simulations and simulating stuff, but sometimes the simulations that we create tend to be artificial because we just focus on the technical and not on living, which is community, all these things that we've touched on before. So we can have a conversation when you are on year 20 or 30 of what it means to be creative and what actually still drives you. But I think those are my sort of like taking everything into a wrapper of Corona love that we've sort of brought into the equation. for the community.
So to summarize, have personality and be different. Don't forget the storytelling. Don't rely too much on AI. Rely on your own creativity. Observe and absorb. Do photography. Don't be too harsh on yourself, right? And on the technical side, take care of your materials. And if you want to exercise your skills, one of the best ways that I know of is to do reproductions. Just take architectural photography if you're in architecture or project or automotive, whatever you're into, and then try to reproduce it as exact as possible, because while doing so, you already have great framing, compositions, lighting, and so on, and you learn so much while doing so. This is something that even skilled and seasoned artists are still doing, because it's a great way of training. By the way, you mentioned photography, and going through all of your profiles, without any exception, all of you seem to be very much into photography. And honestly, since the beginning of Keeping It Realistic 1.5 years ago, I really often try to convince everyone watching that there is this connection between creating beautiful images, being good at storytelling, and exploring photography. So please back me up on this.
I'd say totally. I mean, that's why I was waving this around. Go take photographs. And the great thing these days about digital, you can just take, and you got your phone, you can pull your phone out in the pocket. They've got great cameras. And the great thing is digital. You don't have to pay $5 for every 36 frames you've shot. So you don't need to worry about wasting anything. Experiment, be weird, get into strange angles, zoom in close, zoom out far, stand up, lean to the side, experiment, because it's free. It's instant. You don't have to wait for a render result. And then when you go home, have a look, see what worked, what didn't, and then take that across to your rendering. So I'll zoom in really close. It actually gives you a great atmosphere. Or I'll actually tilt the camera. It actually looks pretty dramatic. It's a great way to learn. So I would totally encourage everybody to zoom out there and photograph as many different things in as many different moods as you can. It's also great fun, so why not?
You don't need special equipment. Even almost everybody has their phone in their pocket.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have a motive which is extremely spectacular. You can just, go pick up your kid from daycare, and on the way there see that the lighting is currently beautiful, or maybe a beautiful retro car has stopped or parked somewhere on the street, and you just take a photo of it. Just do it. Dionysios, please.
Yeah, thanks. Something that I notice when I'm doing training or presentations, not from the experts, but from people that they started a couple or 3-4 years ago, it's that they think that all the rendering engines are the simulation of what we see. That's extremely wrong.
Yeah.
All the rendering engines are the simulation of the film industry. It's the simulation of the camera. This, because our eye, it's an exceptional tool that nature built, and we can simulate it. So the rendering engine, the visualization, it's what we capture with our camera, and this is how it's going to be forever. So this is why, guys, they have to work on photography. They have to work on photography. They have to learn how to take photos with the reflex camera, and not with automatic stuff or with cell phones. And no, reflex. They have to understand what is photography. I mean, that's very, very important to then, just pass and bring all the stuff in the render engine.
Totally agree. Luis?
One of the things I had a very weird period of my career where I was no longer such a hands-on artist, but I was a lot more of a manager, and I had to be managing people when I was a director at Hayes. And one of the things that I guess kept me motivated was if I couldn't make images, then I'm going to study and keep studying and keep working on my eye. So my choice at that point in time, because I am terrified of cameras in real life, I am absolutely horrendously terrified of cameras. But this is very easy and simple, and it's in my phone. and I put myself the sort of task of just going out. The constraint is it has to be my phone. It has to be in black and white because my commercial work is in color and always most of the time will be, and I can choose whatever lens or whatever. At that point in time, I had an iPhone 10 or whatever, an X, and it was like you had one extra lens to kind of play around with. And then that really makes you think about stuff in a very different way. You have to get up close to stuff because you don't have, like, digital zoom is Satan, basically. And then sometimes it was like adjusting your phone to take pictures in black and white natively, or then just think about stuff like how to take a photo, what is successful, what isn't, in terms of when you actually grade it afterwards in black and white in Lightroom or whatever, and then just go through as many as you can, and then you'll notice very quickly that your eye trains itself so quickly, and the types of things. It's so interesting to kind of go through the catalog in the back through the years, because you can see themes, you can see periods of your life. You can kind of see it's like, oh, I was like really into like projected light here, or like, oh, I was really into corners here, or it's really into patterns, and then like start playing around with like super 3-point perspective, or correcting your verticals, or that kind of stuff. It's so amazing how fast you level up, and then when you go back into actually using a max camera, how quickly you can churn through compositions effortlessly, just because it's a trained muscle. So photography is cool.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, it's cool. And going with the reflex, I think, is different of going with the phone. So if you want to work more on the composition, I would suggest to go with the phone. If you don't have a reflex, I don't know. But if you want to work better on the light, on the depth of field, and all the settings that you can use also in 3ds Max, maybe it's better to go with the reflex. So yeah, it depends also about the goals, no? About what you want to do during your...
Nadia, you said something really, really nice, but the composition, it's also the result of your lens. I mean, the wide lens, you have another composition, and the same composition in zoom lens, it won't work. So this is why I said that sometimes smartphones, it's not the good solution, because the reflex, you can have a good zoom lens. So you can try, how you say, a number of zoom stops, or how you say, of configuration of your lens, to understand how the composition changes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was saying,
because the smartphone is very fixed. You have two lenses, and everything is small, and I mean you can't understand really well. I think this is my opinion. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. With the reflex, you can do everything, of course. Also, the composition. But nowadays, all the people have the phone, so the majority of the people think that with the phone they can do all kind of photography, and they can, because everything is automatic. But I think the best way is to go with the reflex to understand how to work in 3ds Max, no? And if you want to work only on the composition and you don't have a reflex, of course the phone is helpful. Better is to have the reflex, but I'm not going with my reflex every day, no? So I have to plan when going for a walk with the reflex. But I always have my phone, so I do both. I use both of them. But some people I know, they don't have the reflex, so at least it's something doing photos with the phone. But of course, the best thing is using the reflex. So I agree with you, absolutely.
I will be a bit hard on that. You can't be a visualizer without having a reflex.
Yeah, but we start
now. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, you're a visualizer, I mean, you have to choose your lenses for your image to create. You have to choose a lot of photographic settings, and I mean, people, when they hear reflex, they think, "Oh my God, I'm going to pay thousands of euros." No, you can. There exist reflex that are low cost, and you can start from a low cost reflex, and you can spend like 400, 500 euros with a zoom, with a classic zoom lens. I mean, this is a very good practice to start creating images, and you don't rely to your smartphone anymore, because when you have a reflex, you have another idea of what's happening in front of you.
I'm never going to show any of my camera settings to any of you ever in Max whatsoever, because you will be absolutely embarrassed and lose all respect for me, because I use the simple settings. I don't use anything else than that for anything.
Same here.
Why make it difficult when simple works?
Oh yeah, I go from 1 to 5. I guess it is what it works.
Yeah.
5 is really blurry. 1 is super sharp.
Nikos, do you have anything to add regarding photography?
I mean, they said amazing stuff. I think the best camera is the one that's with you, just to keep it more simple. And also for me, I think we also take some time and enjoy the view and learn from the view. So what do I mean? There is a time I'm working with my friends, and I do have my camera with me. I mean, my phone is my camera these days, but I'm stopping and I'm looking, and people say, "Nikos, what happened? Are you okay?" What's happening is that I see something nice, and I spend time to appreciate it, and I don't need to capture it with my camera. I capture it with my eyes. So I think that's also a nice practice. When you see a nice frame, spend some time to feel it as a moment, and you don't even have to capture with your phone. I've done this in New York when I was living there. It's such an inspiring place. So when I was going out, yes, daily photography, but there is sometimes that you have to take a break from technology and just feel the moment. Imagine what would you do if you had the camera without actually using your camera, if you know what I mean. I'm doing it a lot as a practice, and it's helping me because we're so much on the phone these days. So when I'm doing my inspiration walk, I do need to have a break from technology. And when I see the moment, I just spend some time with it, imagine what I will do, and keep walking.
Awesome. Mike, something to add?
Not on the topic of photography. Everything you said was pretty consistent with what I think. But there's one tiny thing that I would like to add, because all the photos, all the muscle training is very cool, but in the end, you just don't put it into your pocket. In the end, post it somewhere. Make sure that people see what you're doing, and regardless if it's 3D or photography, make sure that people can criticize you, so you put the bar a little bit higher for yourself, because you're actually going to be showing this to people. Not only they will now start recognizing you, or actually will know that you exist, but on top of that, you will try to keep your content more interesting, and that's going to be from a little bit of a portfolio perspective, where if you're doing something, everything you do is potentially content, potentially portfolio, potentially some case study. So even if it's going to be a small trip to take photos, like Nico said, that you stand there and you think about the photography, come back to that place and redo the shot. So that's really going to make you a better artist. That's all I can add.
I mean, absolutely second this. Let me just share my screen for a very brief moment.
I love the fact that everybody agrees with everybody.
Yeah, we're just an awesome bunch here. But you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay, so just take a look at impressions, what I started doing here. It's not even especially good. These are just photos that I have taken. Maybe, wait a second, I will share it in a different way, because this way you
practice
see...
what you preach, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be out there for people to see. It's not even for my clients. It's just for me. I also did it to motivate the group, the community, to start also sharing, and don't think too much about this. Now we have something quite interesting, a situation that one of our group members described. And I want to connect it to a question, to something which Luis said previously about, also don't forget your private life. Don't forget to get out there to live, and not only to spend all of your time in front of the monitor. It's Amir's question. He describes following situation. He says, your manager needs you to finish a realistic render in high quality. Is it possible to finish a huge reception with a terrace, interior shots and exterior shots within 1 day? So it's 8 working hours, 5 shots at least in high quality. Because he continues, I have 12 years of experience in rendering and I still cannot do it. So is there a secret to it? I don't want to answer this because my answer won't be really diplomatic and polite. I would just send the manager to hell. So I want to hear what you guys would do in this situation. Is it possible, or just leave it be?
I think unfortunately it can be possible, but I think only experience will let you know where you can cut corners and where you can get the perception of detail where there might not be. And if you focus on art direction and perceivable detail, then a lot of the other elements that are kind of capturing your eye more in the image, like the realistic materials, lighting or whatever, maybe not necessarily content filling or all that sort of stuff, or people, whatever. I mean, this is kind of a generic answer, and it's a little bit of like, how long is a piece of string? But is it possible? Yes, it is. Is it possible to a good level? Yes, it is. Should you accept that that's the case? Maybe not.
Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes you just can't get out of that situation, and you have to like step up. Maybe you do it once or twice, and then you don't have to do it ever again. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 images high res in 1 day.
No, 2.
2, yeah, but also
No, it's 5 images, I would say, because it's like the reception.
Get the fuck out of there. Get out of there.
No, not even 1.
Get out. I mean,
screw that, right? It's just not possible. And I think this is why exactly we need to get together and support each other, because all of you saying this to him right now will probably give him the courage next time he's in this situation to just say, you know what, this isn't possible. And if you need an evidence, here it is. There is a recording of people who have a lot of experience here saying that it is simply not possible. So go to hell, which I think is important. Nadia?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends about what high res is for you or for your manager. I don't know, because maybe the high res for him is another kind of high res. So if you want a really good high res, 5 images in 1 day, I think it's impossible.
I think the main bottleneck there is just like content generation. Because even if you kind of go, generic lighting and it's going to be like slightly overcast, it's just the fact that you have to it's just don't even
5 images in 1 day makes me feel that it's only about quantity and not about quality.
Yeah.
In my point.
Well, certainly maybe not the quality of yours, but I think a certain quality is still expected. And imagine doing the modeling, texturing, and all the stuff.
No, you can't do that. You can't. That's out of the mind. It's not acceptable.
So because we're talking about this, it's also not healthy.
I
heard too. That's what I was like. But yeah, 5 is that's a no-fly zone, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, Kacper is asking in something. He says, stupid question related to health. Have you experienced pain in the lower back, and how do you solve this? We spend a lot of time sitting in front of PCs, and sitting isn't the best thing for human beings, to be honest, for a human body. I mean, you see me standing even in the moment. So how do you cope with this and with your health? Because it's not only the body, the physical health, it's also the mental one. What do you do in order to balance out? Because all of this, stress, it doesn't matter if it's traveling like Nikos so much, or most of you traveling so much around the world, it's also stressful. Louis, you said it in the beginning. And sitting in front of the PC, how do you balance this out? What do you do?
So, yeah.
Okay. Can I?
For me, sport is very important for my mind, also for the physics, but the mind is the first thing for me. And when I moved to London last year, I had like anxiety. I never felt anxiety in my life. And then I realized in that period of time when I moved, everything was happening at one time. So changing country, changing house, office, people, everything, changing life. And so I had to stop doing sports. And in that period, I felt so bad with my gut, with my belly. And so as soon as I started again doing sports, I felt so powerful and full of energy. And for me, sport is very important. For example, now, honestly, I'm working on a new personal project that I have to finish in 2 weeks. I started at the beginning of January. And honestly, I'm going to the gym five times per week. And I'm doing this personal project. I'm working at the same time. And I feel full of energy. And my creativity also comes is better also for my creativity. And so, for me, it's very productive. It's not something that you are keeping out of, it's part of your life, no? So it's something that you add to your job as well, because you will feel more powerful, more creativity. You have to set up a time, of course, and you have to do things. But for me, to don't have a burnout, I need to do sports.
Physical activity.
I test it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, go Mike.
Oh, I just wanted to add that healthy diet of movement is very important. But one of the things that helped me is to get a standing desk, because you haven't even seen that while we were talking, I'm standing, and for the half of it, I was sitting. So this is one of the ways that you can support your lumbar spine. But I think that we should segue with this question a little bit further, because the health in our industry is quite something that's very omitted. There's a lot of people pulling all-nighters, and one thing that Nadia has mentioned is avoiding burnout. And I would like to try to move this topic a little bit further than just the lower back pain to actually talking about the overall health and the unhealthy practice. And one of the biggest unhealthy practices that you can do for a client or in our job is staying all night and trying to meet the deadline with your own health. That's not worth it. And that those money may be, helpful. This amount of money may be helpful now, but in the long run, that's what's going to kill you. So try not doing that.
That is very true. Like one of the things that I sort of, holistically speaking, let's say, it's like you are a complete individual. It's not just what you do. So I think part of the secret is it's like, you have to wake up in the morning and you're going to hopefully you're going to brush your teeth before you go out in the morning, and you shower, and then before you go to bed at night. And it sucks. Sometimes you're laying down and you're super lazy about it, but you have to get up and brush your teeth. Otherwise, you're going to get cavities. So imagine working out as a non-negotiable, or moving as a non-negotiable. Because at the end of the day, what you're negotiating with is really your health later on in life. And working out doesn't necessarily have to go to the gym. Working out can be as simple as get up and move every bit of time for a little bit.
Go for a walk.
During a workout, you can literally just get up, go get a glass of water, go to the bathroom, move a little bit. Lunchtime, go for a little walk. In the morning or in the evening, if you have the luxury of living relatively close, or if not, then you still need to move to get home. That's a walk that you can get in. We're not made to be static. Biology says that we used to be hunter-gatherers, therefore we must move around. Otherwise, bad things happen, even if we work out. Like, even during the day, if we don't get up at certain interims, doesn't matter if you're working out in the gym or stuff, you still need to move, because cardiovascular damage still happens.
I mean, for course, there will be also periods of time where you cannot go because a lot of times happen. I had to work during the night or during all the weekends and everything. Of course, it will happen. But if it's happening every day of the year, it's a problem.
It's great. Luis is immediately demonstrating what to do. So yeah, some tips from the chat as well. Get an ergonomic chair, which is great with lumbar support. This helps a lot. And somebody here says, Michael says, my 8-year-old Labrador dog is my key of health. So obviously the mental part is very important. Like in my particular case, it's my family, my kids, just spending the weekends. Here is Randa. I see by Mike, his dog. So yeah, in my case, it's spending time with my family, which is something which is similar to what Luis said. It's just a rule, like brushing your teeth. The weekends are for my family. If there is nothing really, really incredibly urgent, I'm not even in the group. People in the group know this because it's important for me. It recharges me, but it also gives me other perspectives. So let's say if you know the VW Art Club and the cover image of it with his baby hands stretching for something, this is an image which is entirely inspired by my first daughter and me trying to imagine how she feels in her crib as a baby. So, and this wouldn't have came to me as an idea if I wouldn't have had spent time with her or haven't had tried to think about how she feels and things like this. So yeah, definitely. I think all of these are very, very important. I think there are some questions for Tom, but we don't want to stretch it for 3 hours. So we have to come to some type of an end here today, even though I think we can hang out for hours. And people are still hanging out with us, by the way. It's not that they're gone; they're still here. But let's not stretch it too much. Do you have any final summarizing words or something like this?
Of all those questions on the Facebook page, by the way, are they visible under the live stream?
I mean, underneath the live stream, underneath the recording, you can find the questions. I mean, there are some that I have on my own, like, is there going to be Corona for rhinos?
Yeah, I'll go and answer them afterwards, since they're on there. So apologies, we won't cover them live, but that's my summary advice. Watch out for me answering in the Chaos Campus group. I'll answer them on there in writing.
Yeah, the questions are there. So, final words.
I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone for joining and sticking around for almost 3 hours. And it also made me miss you a lot. And it's going to be weird, like I want to move and get away from the computer, but I wish that you were here, that we could go out and continue the discussion together live. So hopefully see you soon. I mean, Nikos, obviously, Nadia, Luis, we're going to be in London
in May.
On the 8th of May. So
yeah,
I'm going to see you as well. Dionysios, I don't know when, but yeah.
We'll make it.
Great to see you live.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
So much, and thank you, Theo, so much.
Thanks a lot to Chaos and to Theo that organized everything, and really thank you guys.
And to the Corona Prime Minister for coming here.
Yeah,
the Prime Minister.
Coronistan.
Yeah.
Somebody else? Final message.
I just want to say thank you. Happy birthday to Corona, and remind to everybody that staying inspired is your responsibility. So stay healthy, stay creative, and I hope to see you again soon. I mean, tomorrow we'll have the Chaos Campus live, so you're welcome to attend.
And on Thursday, the Argus Masterclass.
It's time to party and celebrate.
It's like this man does this for a living. How smooth was that exit? Jesus.
Now, everybody to Kalina's place.
Yes.
It's my brother's place, actually.
Okay, to your brother's place.
Excuse me.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's been absolutely delightful to hang out with all of you. Thank you for inviting me as well, and to invade your office. And yeah, let's see each other in person and online, and render pixels.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Adore to everyone.
And let's stay healthy and crazy.
Thank you very much. It was amazing. Almost 3 hours with you. Thank you. It was great. Thanks also to the audience for sticking out with us, celebrating with us. What an outstanding show today. So if we do it right. Thank you guys. And to the audience, I would say have a great rest of your February. Stay safe, be healthy, and I hope to see you again in 2 weeks for a standard issue of our show. And until then, don't forget to rock on and keep it real. Much love and bye, my friends. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.